For anyone on the Zoom call, if you ever have any issues in the next 2 days, please feel free to reach out. But I'm very excited to be here with you all.
Shivai, do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, I think I hear you now. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Shufai Benjamin Sultan. I am the chief executive of People at Wise, which is an association on education about nature and human development.
Okay. Ezzy, do you want to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Julia. Hi, everyone. I am Izzy Dominguez. I work for an organization. It's a nonprofit, and it's actually based out of Guatemala. And here in Colorado, I am just an independent climate advocate. I'm justice person. I'm really excited to be here with you all, and excited to begin this work with my sis. I don't call Stephanie, or Ewi, or Lama. I call her sis.
That's a good one.
From another mother. and so you will all get to learn to meet me and get contained with all this amazing energy. So really hoping to get a lot of information and work with you all throughout these 3 days. Thank you.
Adaptation, na the thing way, okay, rain dey overfall, sun dey overshine. What you don't do now to say may crops and grow better. My adaptation that so you don't adapt now. Maybe rain if we don't do this and say rain fall only time, rain sun is shining time. So you don't decide to say, okay, rain will be fall for March again. If it fall now for January, so I will start planning for January. I know plans again for March. Now adaptation now we don't do it. Resilience now I say, okay, if rain fall, I don't notice and say landslide will happen, flood will happen. So how have been being my house means strong for where if landslide come, you know go push my house. If flood come, you know go push my house. So in resilience, then I say you don't be barrier, you don't put wall. For say make something we used to do you like person we don't do overcost you. You decide say okay, I could put one now so you not even ever near me again. Now resilience that way you don't do and so. But adaptation that means a person when you overcost you find where you are here when I still the manager because you know say you still need it for something. So it is so struggle to manage for you. Now adaptation that yes. So now the two terms and now the struggle for use and for inside this conversation. Adaptation and resilience. So remember say resilience na the war way the bill. Adaptation now the way we define them, same on continue, even though you not be friend with the person. Yeah. Person they will not be friend with this is a lot. So now adaptation that.
Thank you, Lama. Thank you.
Welcome, Julia.
So next slide, Mary. Last slide. So I just
Actually, what prompted you to come up with this scheme in order to make sure these women are being educated and highlighted on these issues of climate leadership and climate change?
Okay, thank you very much. I think climate change is a reality in our country, and not just in our country, in Africa and across the globe. For the past 4 years, since 2020, I've been working with women in these communities, in a community of BIMBIA Bonadikumbo community forest. And what pushed me there initially was my master's research that made me to identify some of the challenges that the women were experiencing. And after collecting my data, the women told me you are not going to come back to this community because other people always collect information from us and go without coming back to give back to us. And I had to promise them that I was going to come back to the community to work with them and to make sure that the situations that they have highlighted during my research are actually looked into. And the very first year, I went in sourcing for funding for projects that they highlighted around climate change that were affecting their community, like food insecurity, and also the issue of overheat and excessive rains. So through the African Climate Reality Project, we were able to get our first support to implement projects in this community, and we started with nursery establishment with the women. We also did beehive establishment, creating a bee farm with the women, which we are still working on. And then we did a home garden with these same women, and also built their capacities on a climate leadership workshop, which was hosted at the Lime Botanic Garden, called the Zinc Carbon Workshop. But because we realized that this workshop brought together a lot of people, stakeholders, that intimidated the women from being able to express themselves, we decided that it would be better to have a single meeting with these women so that they can be able to understand exactly what is happening around the climate change space. And it's not just understanding what is happening in the climate change space. We want these women to be represented in decision-making platforms and programs. I will not be surprised one day if one woman from this group is found in the House of Assembly telling people about the experiences they're having on climate change in their communities. One of the challenges we have had over the years is that the people, especially women who are more vulnerable to the impact of climate change, are experiencing these damages more, but they are not seated on decision-making platforms and programs. The Climate Leadership Workshop is a start of what we see here for these women. And we are hoping that in subsequent years, these women can be able to be represented at climate change conferences out of Cameroon, where they will be able to tell stories of their community by themselves without us being there to tell them, to tell the world. These women experience these damages more than we do. And sometimes we tend to tell the stories from our own perspectives without giving them a platform to do so. So the Climate Leadership Workshop is building their capacities on climate change, empowering them on what climate change is, so that in the next few years we can have them represented in the House of Assembly, we can have them represented at the United Nations, we can have them represented at conferences of the parties, like the ones that are coming up now.
Thank you. Briefly in Pidgin, if you don't mind. Briefly, quite briefly.
All right, so the workshop was actually put on together with the call and say Climate Leadership Workshop. And with the call and Climate Leadership Workshop, because we don't work with women them for the past 4 years for BIMBIA, and we don't hear their story them, and the story they don't touch we. And as a result of this story, they don't hear them. We know that the women they experience plenty things them way we would therefore update and make all the decisions them. We know they even experience them. So we feel say it be very important many women them understand where climate change really be, so that if we build their capacity for where if we put them for some place, may they talk about climate change, they will be able to talk. Would you hope in the future say this particular climate leadership workshop it will continue for long, so that by the time women they want to come out, they stand for road, if we talk about climate change with all boldness, and then would you hope say as years and go, we make sure say the women then they enter house then like House of Assembly, they enter organization then like United Nations, where they tell their own story by themselves. And for we to make sure say that one happen, we're going to start for small level now, so and our own small level this will not start there. But in the next 4 or 5 years, the woman and the no go still should not have a place, and so they go show up a platform the way they high pass the one way they did so, where they go to talk for president them, they go to talk for prime minister them, they go to talk for minister them about climate change and how climate change will affect their own communities and how they don't experience them firsthand.
Controlling this workshop for women, they will get knowledge about the fight against climate change and natural resources. Wait till they take back for your control man for that side. Can you start with your name?
My name is Honorine Soso, BIMBIA Bonatikombo. With the thing I will take back from my woman them, now for help them for know how they will manage the forest, because I discover say cutting down of trees they destroy our forest. So when I go back with them, as the sister, my sister, they come give we plant, help with for next tree. When we go back, I go make them, we will plant back that tree so that we will fit build back our forest.
So you are one of the participants who is present here for this women leadership workshop on management of resources and climate change. No, it's okay, and climate change. So tell me, or we'll start with your name. How are you going to ameliorate the ecosystem or the forest around your area?
Thank you very much. My name is Margaret Mengot. I come from BIMBIA. What I learned today about the climate change I learned about what is the reason why we have climate change now is because of combustion, which is gas. Why when we fly through plane and the gases that we use in our homes brings climate change.
So what will you be taking back to BIMBIA in order to educate other women so as to preserve the environment?
Okay, secondly, I learned again about fertilizer. That fertilizer is not good to use in the soil, even in the crops, it kills them. So I will tell them that no matter how they think fertilizer is good, but fertilizer is another killer in our society for today. So one challenge for this climate change is fertilizer also. So I will make sure that they will stop using fertilizer.
Ah, but now